Hello everybody, welcome back to Crypto Atlas. And some crazy stuff's going on right now. We're actually seeing Bitcoin dropping live as we are doing this video. So as you can see, quite a bit of a drop already taking place here, but we are going to be talking about that as well as several other things. I've been talking about in some of my other videos, Orchid, Band, Polkadot. I'm also going to be talking about what's been going on with gold, the stock market, everything that just kind of happened yesterday, but I'm going to try and make it in a nice little bundled package video for you guys, nice and short, hopefully, and to the point. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share this if you got some other people you think that would also enjoy this kind of content. And also don't forget to hit like. It definitely helps us out, raises our discoverability up, more people can be able to see us. We are on the road trying to push towards that 1,000 subscribers. So every single one of you guys that have hit subscribe, I really do appreciate it. And all of you guys that haven't yet and you are going to do so, thank you so much. So let's go ahead and take a look right here. First off, article by Cointelegraph. What exactly caused this big plunge, right? So there's a bunch of different speculation, but there's some leading indicators to what kind of contributed to it. Two things that they really wanted to highlight on was the decline by over 8% on the day. First was the miners sold off unusually large amounts of BTC in a short period. Second, the US dollar index has started to recover from a key multi-year support area. So the strengthening of the dollar, and that kind of leads into the safe haven assets. You think of stuff like gold or Bitcoin doesn't feel quite as necessary when you hear news like that. Analysts also attribute the fall of gold to the rising US dollar, as I was just stating that fact. So we take a look over here on Bitcoin, and from what I could tell, to me, this looks like a head and shoulders pattern. I do want to clarify, I should always mention this in every video, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes. So I hope you guys get some valuable information out of this, but you should always do further research and make the decisions on your own. Don't ever ask me for any financial advice. So when I took a look at this, I'm seeing a head and shoulders pattern here. And when we create the neckline, actually, technically the neckline would be right there. As we break across each one of these sets, then we could see what's been stabilized here in the median zone. If we trail that down below, that actually tests right here along the $10,500 level. We did have a continuation past that. A slight pullback, but it did end up passing past that level. And because of that, having done so, we're now going to be testing new areas in the range. A big key metric that we need to be able to keep an eye out for is the $10,000 range. We could see right here that the RSI is actually dangerously close to being oversold. It's right around that 30 mark, but it didn't actually hit it. If anything, you could see it started to bounce off a little bit. Volume had a bit of an increase in comparison. Last time that we saw a large increase like this was back on July 27th. We're looking at this on the daily, and that was when there was a huge spike up. So some people might even, if you kind of zoom in here a little bit more like this, it starts to look kind of like a Bart Simpson pattern. So the neckline, the bunch of hair, and then a drop down. That's another kind of way that you can take into that perspective there. And then we look over here on the CME Futures Gap. You can see that the candlestick wick for yesterday, well, actually today, sorry, for today had almost touched it. Not quite. We're off by a couple $100 here, but it was pushing pretty close, and then a bit of a retracement up there. If this has a continuation on, $10,000 is the first level that we have to break below for it to be continuation of a bearish pattern. And then the next level we're going to be looking at, it's going to be somewhere between the $9,900 rank and like $9,700. So median zone kind of puts you at around $9,850. Take a look over on Orchid. As we have previously talked about this was actually a descending triangle pattern. But what's interesting is it's now formed more of a descending wedge pattern, which is actually more of a reversal pattern. So that's some somewhat good news. Bad news is that it doesn't really mean much. It's just suggesting what it's more likely to do. And as it is right now, it's actually still going down further. But what is interesting is that we have this bounce off of this new support line. It was raised up higher before. This was actually raised right there. And that big breakthrough has now created this new trend, setting it right down alongside here. So if this is able to retrace back up, the next level back in the Fibonacci retracement from before would be right around at 44 cents. So we could see a 13-cent increase. But on the other side, the flip side of it, next level that we're kind of looking at is still going to be at that 27-cent range. And then after that is going to be right around the 20-cent range. And then we're basically right in the consolidated zone for where it was before. The RSI on this is pushing closer to the 30. So it's starting to get to that range where it's almost looking like it is being oversold. A lot of this seems to be kind of tied in with what's going on with Bitcoin. But again, the whole market just basically all dropped yesterday. You go take a look at CoinMarketCap, which I didn't even pull up here. But let's go take a look at CoinMarketCap in the last 24 hours. It's a lot of red. I mean, I'll count the greens. Let's just make it easier for ourselves. Tron, USD Coin, Cello, DAI, BitTorrent, Flexicoin, Paxos Standard, Binance USD, HUSD, but that's 0%. I didn't change anything. ZB token, and that's it. So you got 9 and 10, if you really want to count the other one. Out of the top 100, they were actually green. 90% of the top 100 cryptocurrencies were all negative. And that's not the only thing. Let's take a look at some other stuff here. We go look at the market for yesterday, Thursday's close. The Dow Jones was down negative 2.78%. NASDAQ down negative 4.96%. The S&P 500 down negative 3.51%. Ouch. And then when we look for the stock futures for when it's going to open tomorrow, being Friday, guess what? It's already starting off at negative 0.38% for the S&P 500, negative 0.96%, almost 1% for NASDAQ before it's even opened. The Dow Jones at negative 0.23%. Not good indicators. What about other things in the market, right? Tesla. Well, guess what? Tesla dropped 9.02%. Apple, 8.01%. Gold, it did have a decline yesterday. It looks like it's having a little bit of a pullback up throughout the course of today. But previously, the last 2 days, it's seen red. It's dropped down, and it's looked like it is battling right around the, I'm not sure how to use the chart on this website, to be honest, thegoldprice.org. But that's looking like it's right around 1930, 1925 range. It's very close to that kind of a range. So let's go ahead and close out a couple of these things here that we don't need anymore. You can even see that they have a highlighted, I didn't even notice this, but now let's go ahead and talk about it for a second. The Asian markets follow Wall Street lower as tech sell-off continues. So the Asian market is also feeling it, feeling the pain. A lot of things suffering. Everybody just panicking all at once with this news and this information. Let's go ahead and take a look over at Band Protocol, aka Band. And so when we had this set up here, this was an ascending broadening wedge, which is a bearish indicator, and it had broken down below the support. As you can see, it dropped below the 0.382, then it hit the 0.5 and actually broke that support, and it just broke through the next level, went past and basically retraced after it passed below the low end support that we had set up here at the 10.9. It had retraced back and essentially stopped right on that 0.786 level. I really like the Fibonacci retracement. Now, there's a whole bunch of different indicators that are out there, and some people will swear by one thing over another. A lot of the people that I watch that I really enjoy, they tend to use the Fibonacci retracement, and for reasons like this, you can kind of see how everything sort of falls into place on a lot of this. I personally, I really like it. The RSI, you don't really got much to work with off of this, but we're just trying to show you what we got and trying to make the best estimates that we can. Just keep in mind, again, that this is very speculative with what we have available off of the chart, but we're looking at it on the daily end. So this has actually dropped down below next levels that we're kind of seeing. We had a bounce off of right here at 9.5, and with where it is at right now at 10.75, I would kind of keep an eye at. We actually had another separate bounce right here at 10.31. So the 10.31, we've got the retracement close for 2 different days. We've got a bounce off with the wick on another day, and then also as far as today goes, it had bounced off of that. So for band, I'd really keep an eye on at 10.31. If it passes below that, then we could see continuation down to 9.5. Otherwise, look towards back up to 11.21 if it's going to try and make its continuation back up. If we pull this down here, you guys can see I don't know where that just went. You guys can see that little line that I was just now talking about, kind of establishing itself right there off of the bounce. It's actually just slightly inclined. Right there is what I was trying to do. So you can see that just slightly better. So that's something to take into consideration when you're looking at band, if you're going to be doing any kind of investments with it. I wish that I had more to reference off for the charts, but hey, we got a pretty good setup so far. We did call for that bearish pattern. It did end up leading towards that. The statistical odds were more in that direction. And let's go take a look at DOT. What's going on with Polkadot? So over with Polkadot, it is actually yesterday it had a decline as well. It passed below the 0.236 level, but it's had a little bit of a retracement back up, and it is currently at $5.75. It had passed slightly above the 0.236 level, but has had a retracement back down across the day. If this has another drop down, we might be looking at levels testing towards the 0.382. We've got 3, 1 down, 1 up, 2 down, 1 up, 3 down, 1 up. I mean, I wish, again, that I had more to be able to work off with something like this. But as it is right now, it is positive for the day, just not by much. And when we take a look at Bitcoin, it is positive by 1%, so slightly up. OXT, a bit down. It's still suffering. And Band, also a bit down. Polkadot. Let's also go ahead and take a look at Chainlink. I'm hoping that some of you guys actually like the fact that I kind of keep this more natural, raw, organic. So we got LINKUSD. Reference it off of Coinbase. And Chainlink has had quite a bit of a drop off here. Pulling down, dropping below the 20 EMA, the 40 RSI, getting dangerously close to that oversold for the RSI. Chainlink dives to key liquidity region. I like to look at some of the highlighted moments that are down here. I know you guys can't quite see it, so sorry about that. And yeah, so this level, we might even see it pull further down. Just kind of looking at where things are at right now. Almost looks like we got ourselves a double top right here. And this is not looking that great. I want to take a look at the coin market cap. I am quite curious how much volume for Chainlink has moved in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, there was $1.9 billion that had been moved. 1.9 billion. The next closest to that was Bitcoin Cash at 2.197 billion. And Bitcoin Cash had actually been talking about doing a fork, which a lot of people are looking at that very negatively. So for this to be at negative 14%, although it does have a higher price, the actual market caps are very close. They're very, very close. I do not look at this as a good positive indicator. And to me, for something that's so negative as Bitcoin Cash, I think a lot of the hype is starting to pull back for Chainlink. It's just a personal opinion on this, but I would be very cautious about potentially getting in on Chainlink at the moment. There's indications that look like it might have a further continuation. If we see a bounce up with Bitcoin and it does have a further rally, I think this could actually rally the entire industry space. But otherwise, some of the leading sort of like money makers in the short term that were moving up, such as Orchid when it had that big pump up, a lot of people have been boasting about Chainlink. We could see a lot of that sell-off taking place because people are looking to take profit on this. Volume is on a decline right here. We also see a bit of a decline off of the top right there. We can take a look right here. And what else do we got going on? Seeing a little bit of a trend pattern here. We got bounces off on the wicks and then a close on the day here. So holding around this 11.77 range, just slightly below where it's at the 11.89. No, not below. I'm not trying to say below. I made this off even. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm looking at the 12.05, slightly above. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I just saw the candlestick right below it. So looking at the 12.05, hopefully it can break above that and be able to hold that level. As it is right now, it is still below. So we have a previous candle that dropped all the way down, or started originally right here at 10.13. I would be keeping an eye on that, seeing if it's also kind of starting to form its own Bart Simpson play right there. All right, so I believe that is actually going to be a good amount of information covering different cryptocurrencies. I wanted to give you a little bit more of an overview. I went a little bit over with covering the Chainlink, and I wasn't fully prepared with that one. But I decided that I wanted to still give you guys some news. The channel here is still pretty new, and I was trying to remember which cryptocurrencies we've covered so far. I hope this news is helpful for you guys. Again, if you did find this information valuable in one regard or another, regards to the Bitcoin, the Orchid, band protocol, Polkadot, we got Chainlink, looking at the markets with the stock market and also with coin market cap, a lot of stuff to really keep in mind, guys. When I also want to go ahead and add another note. Back when we had this big drop back in March, right? I've been really cautious, and even though the market's been rallying, a lot of the technical analysis suggests that it's going to be bullish. I look at historical trends, and I look back at the dot-com bubble. You take a look, and that was back in 2000. You take a look also at the housing market crisis in 2008, something called a dead cat bounce. And in a dead cat bounce, you get this big rising price, and then it drops down. Everyone starts to panic, but then the price starts to recover, and everything looks good. Oh, right. Oh, man, I can breathe. Everything's good. And just when you think everything's okay and you start to buy back in, there's a second drop-off. And the second drop-off can oftentimes be harder than the first time. And it catches a lot of people off guard. So that's a dead cat bounce. I've been expecting it to happen, but I've even started to doubt myself because the amount of time that has been passing by and just how fast everything's been rallying, and with the Federal Reserve printing as much money as it has, I mean, it's like we've been living in la la land, and I think it's starting to come back into reality. This could just be the start, and I really think that everyone should be very cautious. You can always do dollar cost averaging, so if you feel like right now is a good opportunity to buy in, then whatever price that you had before, instead of selling that off, you're going to kind of mediate your average price. So when this does rally, which a lot of these will more than likely, but it's not a guarantee. Obviously, you guys should always realize the golden rule of investing. Never invest more than what you're willing to risk to lose. So if you're willing to put something in, this is a great opportunity. This is actually the moment when you want to buy, when there's a discount on everything. I tried to make a really good analogy when I was doing a live stream earlier. You go to a store, right? And there's something that you really want. They put a discount on it, 10% off, 20% off. You're much more inclined to actually buy that real life thing in front of you during those points in time, right? So why not apply the same kind of psychology to something that you're really interested in as far as a cryptocurrency or even a stock, right? If it's a project that you personally believe in and you see a future in it, and you're okay if you put that money in and it's gone. You felt confident in that decision because you do have to take some level of risk. You can hedge your risk by putting in stop losses. So if it goes too low, you're saying, you know what, automatically sell it. I'm okay with taking a little bit more of a loss at this point, but nothing more. I am not comfortable with taking any more of a loss, right? That's the importance of setting up stop losses. So yeah, guys, this is basically it for this video. Again, if you're new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe. It definitely helps us out, and I got more information to share with you guys. I try to upload a video every single day. Don't forget to hit the like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what the heck you think is going on with everything. What project do you feel is going to go even more down and it's going to hit really hard? And which project do you think is actually going to go on the rise up and it's going to just totally blow everything out of the water? And people are going to regret that they didn't buy during this dip right now. So let me know. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next episode.